Right before the pandemic started, I was exposed to this Recovered Voices initiative, and I was asked to play a concert. And I heard first about this initiative and about the mission, which is to promote and perform music by composers whose lives and works were suppressed as a result of Nazi policies from 1933 to 1945. There was a talk given by the artistic director of the Recovered Voices Initiative, a man named James Conlon, who was one of my dear mentors, and he is also the music director of the Los Angeles Opera. And I was floored because I had never heard of these composers. There's effectively two generations of composers whose lives, works, and legacies were effectively ripped out of the history books.
I was thinking about the Soviet Union and Jews and Jews in Nazi Germany, and I saw this advertised as someone is going to talk about this composer Weinberg that is not very much known, who escaped Poland as a Jewish person and survived Stalin's Soviet Union. I had to just listen in, and then I was just fascinated both by the talk that Adam gave as well as the music they played, and immediately I felt like I want to find a way to bring them to NAU. For someone who navigates two totalitarian systems, it's just too good to let go of this opportunity. And so I just felt we need to expose Flagstaff community and NAU students to this event.
He was a very quiet, very introverted person, but there was so much ferocity in his music that it really feels like he's almost screaming and working out some immense trauma that he experienced through his composition, and you can really very palpably feel that. And not all of his works, there's a lot of tenderness and a lot of beauty in other elements of his works, and that duality I think is just unbelievably fascinating, and it takes a lot emotionally to perform this music, but it's also unbelievably satisfying to play something that has such a wide range of compositional character and emotional depth in character that you have to really search deep within yourself to try and do justice to what Weinberg was trying to say and in interpreting his very powerful compositions.
I learned how important it can be to understand the story behind a piece of music. Because when you hear a piece of music in isolation, it doesn't really hit the same way as it does when you understand who wrote it.
I know that music does hold like a lot of power within it, but I feel like really hearing the story of this man, and how the music related to it, I really feel like music is a gateway that people could really express themselves.
He believed that it was his duty to commemorate those that were lost during the war and to represent through his music the horrors that befell mankind. In spite of all of his tremendous trials and tribulations, he persevered and he composed throughout everything, which I just think is a tremendous point of inspiration. from a humanistic standpoint, just understanding the tremendous stories of both tragedy and also perseverance just in general has just increased my awareness about history and about life and about music in just such an important way that it's made me evolve into, I think, a totally different person than I was a few years ago before learning about these composers.